So today I did something a little bit different. This time around, I decided to simply look at my Roblox homepage and pick something at basically pure random. I saw a game called Hunting Season with one of the most AI-looking generated images for its thumbnail I've ever seen, along with a pretty tragic 66% like to dislike ratio, which all things considered on Roblox is, it's pretty bad. And considering that I always get comments from idiots talking about how I'm so biased towards first-person shooter games and yada yada yada, seeing my chance to take a big ol' steamy dump on a first-person shooter game, I asked myself, how bad could Hunting Season possibly be? And I would get my answer, and that answer would be really, really bad. To put it simply, Hunting Season is one of the most bare-bones, unfun games that I've played in the first-person shooter genre maybe ever. When you launch the game, it prompts you to start a tutorial claiming that it will take 2 minutes in order to complete, which, all things considered, a 2-minute tutorial sounds real easy, right? And that would be right. When you hop into the tutorial, it tells you everything that you're ever going to need to know about the game, which that might start to worry you a little bit when you realize that they weren't lying and it really is 2 minutes long. Yeah, this isn't a very good sign, is it? The first thing that you'll notice when logging in and playing the tutorial is that your player moves slower than ass. Why the hell did they decide to make the movement speed so... Actually, no, I know exactly why they decided to make the movement speed so slow. They did it to waste your time, because that's basically this entire game, designed to waste your time. Either way, it's almost as if your player decided to go out with like 200 pounds of military-grade kit in order to run around this giant empty forest, because you move slow as shit. And it's no more clear that you're moving slow as shit than watching other people move around, because you can really see just how slow you are. The sprint in this game is basically akin to the RP slow walk of any other normal game that you would play. Anyways, the tutorial has you kill a deer that stands there and does nothing. You harvest the deer, which is the main gameplay of the game. Then you go and it teaches you about shops, shows you things you can buy, and plops you into the world. In the main menu is where I thought there was actually something cool going on. There's a bunch of different locations that you can choose, but you can't go to any of them yet. I assume they were locked by some sort of level, didn't click on them, and moved on with my day. Spawning into the world, and you immediately get a prompt telling you that you should play this game on a private server because randoms will just completely ruin the game. That's a great sign, isn't it? So anyways, I suppose it's time to track down the animals that we're going to be shooting, and the tracking system in this game is very simplistic. Animals will leave behind footprints. If you go up to them and you press E, it will show you the last direction that the animal was moving, and you follow their footprints until eventually, obviously, you find the animal that left them. So you find an animal and then you go to shoot it, and the sensitivity slows to a fucking crawl. Oh no, oh no! At this point, I think we need to have just like an Eclipse seal of shit. If a game gets the Eclipse seal of shit, it's probably failed right from the get-go, and you ought to just avoid it like the plague. Slowing down your sensitivity for no reason because you don't understand ADS zoom sensitivity coefficients, which if that sounded like gibberish to you, it means that you don't play shooter games and you should not make a shooter game. Either way, if you don't understand that concept, you get the Eclipse seal of shit. Because at this point, I think we all know how I feel about when you fuck with my sensitivity in these games. And you know what? Screw it. I don't care. We're going off topic. I was gonna go in an order. I don't care. We're talking about shooting. Let's talk about shooting. Because shooting in this game is abysmal. It's absolutely horrifically bad. There is zero hit feedback when you hit things. Zero. On top of no indication of where your bullet is actually landing when you fire it, leading to massive, enormous levels of confusion as to when you're hitting something, when you're not, why you're missing, whether or not you're even missing at all. It's awful. You see, for those uninitiated with first-person shooter games, generally speaking, there are two different types of shooting that you can have in a game. Hit scan, where your bullet goes immediately upon firing the weapon directly at where your crosshair is, or a projectile-based system, where when you fire the weapon, a projectile that actually exists in the world comes out. It's usually affected by gravity and has some sort of travel time. So, for example, if an animal was running right to left, you would have to aim in front of the animal so that way it would intercept the animal mid-run, rather than a hit scan system where if you were just pointing directly at the animal while it was running, it would hit it. Generally speaking, you want to make it very clear which of these systems that you're using in the game that you're playing, so that way the player knows what the hell they're supposed to be doing and will lead shots if they think they have to, or not lead shots if they don't think they have to. You do this by actually showing the bullet and making it clear whether or not it's moving within the game world itself, or just flat out telling the player in that stupid tutorial that you had at the beginning. But does this game do either of those? Fuck no, it doesn't. And because animals in this game move at goddamn warp speed, trying to tell whether or not you hit them is really hard. And it double doesn't help with the fact that when you do hit animals, again, hit feedback doesn't exist. Does blood come out when you shoot the animal? Maybe, but I wouldn't know because some genius made it so that way when you fire your gun, it has a shitload of recoil and immediately jostles the camera to the point where being able to tell if you actually hit the target or not is literally impossible. Even if they did have hit feedback, you wouldn't be able to tell. Oh, isn't that great? No, it sucks! And so, as I'm sure you can probably imagine, all of this crap leads to incredible frustration when it feels like you've shot the thing that you're trying to kill 15 times and it just keeps running around like a crackhead. Because the other wonderful thing about this game is its AI. Good lord, is it simultaneously the most frustrating and stupid thing on the planet. Sometimes the AI decides, oh, I'm gonna charge straight at you and then stand still directly in front of your line of sight so that way you can shoot me, watch me get hit, presumably, and then go, I just got shot in the head, what the fuck do I care? I'm out of here, and zoom away. And sometimes the animals run at Mach 12 away from you like 400, 500 meters, and you remember how slow you are? Yeah, well, you're gonna be following them the whole fucking time. What a disaster. And the worst part, to be honest with you, probably the bleeding out mechanic on the animals. Because when you do shoot an animal, it'll start bleeding, and eventually, if it doesn't heal, I don't know, I don't care, the animal will bleed to death. Which means that if you're tracking it down, eventually you'll track it straight to the dead body. But as I mentioned earlier, the animals can run 400, 500, 600, who fucking knows how many meters away from you. So you could be following a bleeding animal for several minutes and potentially just never find the damn thing because it ran into some grassy knoll, dropped dead, and who knows where it went. You miss a single one of those little footprints, go fuck yourself. What a disaster. I just don't understand how, like, all of these things, it's just one of those things where it's like one after another. You're like, oh, that sounds stupid. Okay, maybe they shouldn't have done that. Okay, maybe they shouldn't have done that. Okay, what are they doing? Why do they keep doing all of these things that are all bad? Is there anything good? Quite honestly, no. No, I don't think so, because I can keep going. This game gets a second Eclipse seal of shit because of its menu. Yeah, pop open the menu and my crosshair doesn't exist. Did anybody test this? Did anybody test this? Did anybody? No, they didn't. There's no way. No, they didn't. What kind of game makes it so that way you have to pause and unpause the game on Roblox itself to get your fucking crosshair to appear on the damn menu? You know what I think happened? I think what happened is that this happened and the developers of the game knew that it happened, and when they looked at it, they were like, we could fix it, but who fucking cares? And didn't bother. That's what I think happened, and I will die on that hill. And so anyways, you remember how I was talking earlier about how I was interested with the fact that there were probably several different maps and locations that I could go to, assuming that I unlocked them? Well, I would later on learn that I was just stupid. I was an idiot. Why would I assume that? What a fucking moron. Because what actually happens is that all of these little locations, they're all on the same map. There's one map. One. And it's all the same. The whole thing is grass, trees, and water every once in a while. The entire map is identical. This thing looks like it could have been made in an afternoon. You could have spent like 30 minutes and come up with a map like this. Are you kidding me? One map? So yeah, you can unlock the other locations so that way you can simply teleport there easier later. Oh, thank you, game. Thank you. What an absolute gem. And you know what? The list goes on. The animals can hear you, right? If you get too close to them and you're moving too quickly, you make too much noise and then they start running away. Which I guess go figure, because a lot of the time they'll hear you before you can even see them and just dip at Mach 12. But what's even better is that when you go to shoot at the animals that you want to kill, when you shoot, the game puts up a little tooltip and goes, you should probably be more quiet. You scared the animal. No shit, I scared it. I shot it. Again, this is one of those things where it's like, did they use their brain when they programmed this in? Oh, you spooked the animal when you shot it in the ass. And I really, genuinely cannot begin to make you understand how annoying it is to have shot animal after animal after animal in the head, clearly crosshair right on their face, and then have them go, hoo-hoo, time to run. And it's hilarious because I know that this is supposed to just drop them dead. I know it is, because at one point I shot a deer that was right next to me and it died instantly because apparently I shot it in the lung. So somebody programmed in damage zones where sometimes you'll be able to kill them instantly and sometimes you won't, basically based off of RNG, and yet all of these headshots just didn't count because I don't know. I don't know why. The game decided I missed. Does this look like I missed? I don't know how I missed because the hip feedback is so awful that I'll never know. And the icing on the shit cake, microtransactions. Of course we've got microtransactions. The worst of all, the ATV that it taunts you with right at the beginning of the damn game. You remember how I said you were slow as ass? Well, you can solve that by buying an ATV, you dumb idiot. Yeah, buy the Game Pass so that way you can get around the map at a reasonable pace. Except for if you don't want to buy the Game Pass, you can get the ATV. You're just gonna have to buy it every single server you join because it only lasts once. Once ever, and then you have to buy it again. I cannot. What? And the final kick in the balls, the saddest thing that I've ever seen from a video game, is that there are 3 animals in the whole game. 3 in the entire game. There's deer, there's moose, and there's coyotes, and that's it. And that's it. And that's it. What?